But in Philippi, he only stayed a short time. And he went to all these other places, Galatia, Ephesus, I mean, you name it. He was all over the map. And then a problem arose in Jerusalem that the church was suffering financially. They couldn't take care of itself. And Paul, the Lord laid on Paul's heart, reach out to those people you brought into the kingdom. And so he sent messengers out to all the churches and said, look, we're trying to take up a collection for the saints in Jerusalem because they are struggling. And Jerusalem was the home church. I mean, they were in the city that started everything. And so he sent out these requests, and some churches said, well, Paul, you know, we got a lot of bills. But we'll do something. We'll do something. We'll send you something. And all of them did send something. But out of the one that he spent the least time came the most. Paul said to them, and you can read it in his own letter, you were the only one that responded beyond your ability. Because you know what a lot of those, I'm not saying us because I know y'all don't. But most people, when I go and I see and there's a need for something to be done, most people say, well, I can't. I don't have enough for me. Because we always look at the downside of how it affects us. Not whether it's a good need or legitimate need. It's just that I can't afford to be a part of it. But Philippi was so different. They decided, you know what, Paul? We trust you. If you say that the church in Jerusalem needs some resources, we're going to. And see, they were living in a good city. They were just part of the south side. Or whatever side the poor people hang out. They didn't have a lot of business people and corporate boards and all that kind of stuff to, ask for requests and all that kind of thing. They just had who they had. But the church decided, you know what? We're going to give all that we can. And Paul said that they gave more than any of the other churches. And that's the only church in the New Testament that he says that about. Now, it doesn't say, it's not saying that another church didn't do something, but he said, among all of the others, you were at the top. Because it wasn't the amount. It wasn't the amount that they gave. It was the percentage of what they had. And Paul highlighted them in the last few verses, and I'm going to give you 3 things. Hopefully, it has been transforming my life, and still is. And I hope it will transform you. Because we live in a world that steadily is getting darker. And there isn't enough light being seen. And if we don't make it known, then we give our assent to what's going on. You don't have to go march and picket and all these kind of things. Just do what the gospel says. Sometimes you can win people not even saying a word. But Paul wrote to them and they said, let me just look at this. Starting at verse, I don't have my glasses on here, I can't see this. That's one thing about life. When you get older, things get a little dimmer. But sometimes you can see really clear. In verse 10, Paul said, I rejoice in the Lord greatly that now at last you have renewed your concern for me. And it's wonderful and marvelous that every year you renew your appreciation for your pastor having jubilee. A lot of churches don't do that. They just give them an envelope and say, thank you, and move on. But said, I'm greatly impressed how you renew your concern. In other words, they had been doing it, but something had stopped. He says, for whom also you were thinking. In other words, something had blocked them from being able to help Paul. But they kept thinking, how can we? He says, for whom you also were thinking, but you had no opportunity to express it. Now, I can tell you right now, there have been a lot of opportunities, but I still didn't express it. Yeah, I prayed with people and I, shared in things and stuff, but it went as far as the visible handshake or something, and when I left, that was gone. I didn't think about it that next time I saw it. But this church, they got interrupted in their ability, but they didn't stop trying. And when they were able to do it, guess what they did? They didn't start afresh loading up. They just collected what they had, which they could have gotten to them and added to. He says, not that I speak from need, for I have learned. In other words, Paul said, this is nothing I was born with. Judaism didn't teach me this. Being in the Pharisees didn't help me to understand this. He said, but I've learned. In whatever circumstances I'm in, I know how to make do with little. And I know how to have abundance. In everything and in all things, I have learned the secret, both to be filled and to be hungry, both to have an abundance and to go without. I am able to do all this by the one who strengthens me. And I want to give you the first thing. If you are not where you expect to be by this time in your life, somewhere along the line you got off the wrong track. And it didn't happen in a train wreck. It just veered off. You know how sometimes the train has to take a offshoot sometimes to get around cars that are in front of it, so it takes a side track, and then later on down the rail, it gets back online. Sometimes in our life, we've gotten off on that side rail but never got back on. And we down the road and we say, how did I end up here? And what it tells us is that I am where I am because of the tracks that I ran on. But that's not the kicker. You can always, when they used to take the shuttle up to the space station, and or anything when they shoot anything in space, like when they went to the moon and came back. Every so often, they just set it on automatic and hope that it would wind up. Every so often, they would check their figures and make mid-course corrections. And if you wait too late, you can miss your destination. And so what Paul was telling them is that you have taken a train and have gone farther than any of the others who got on board. Because even though you may have taken a side journey, you got back on. Where some of them are still on the side journey and can't find their way back to the track. No. So he says to them, there's a secret to reaching your expectations. And the secret is, don't be comfortable in any circumstance in life. Y'all look at me like, what? Well, let me just explain it to you. Now, I'm not an economist, and I'm sure not an astute business person like your pastor, but I've read a few things lately that says that most people in developing countries, they live by a principle of 80-20. 80-20. And the principle is you live off of 80 and you save the 20. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? 80-20. That means 80 of it is for me. And the 20 I can do as I please. And so people, they go to work, they get their job, they get their paycheck, and every week, 80% goes into personal expenses and everything else. And then of the 20%, we divide it up, in quarters. The 20%, when you split it up, is not a lot. Because you're not talking about the 80%, you're talking about the 20%. So if you, just say, if it was 25% and you had to divide it up into Equal quarters, you have 5 cents in each one. 5% in each one. Well, that's a lot less than the whole 20. But that's what we set ourselves up for. So that when we get to our situations in life that sometimes we can't handle, we don't have any resources to go to because we've only got 5% in these 4 or 5 things. And that doesn't add up to a lot. And Paul said, what we need to do is to live balanced lives. And you know what I used to think balanced life was? You know, it's all equal and level. You know, there's no high on this end and no low on that end. But I've come to realize that's not the real truth. Because the truth of it is, if you want to ever get to your level of expectation in life, you have to start looking at what it's going to take for me to get there. And then how do I arrange where I am so that I can make it? Now I'm just here to tell you all up front, it's not going to work just by you coming to church and putting some money in the offering. It's not. I'm a big believer in tithing, but if what we tithe as to what we spend is out of whack, because the secret to what Paul was talking about, where he said, I know how to be without, and I know how to be with a lot. He said, the secret is, can God trust me with a lot? That's right. That's right. Amen. Am I trustworthy enough that God would give me a lot, and I would do what was right with a lot? Or do I have to be forced to have little and struggle trying to do it at a point where I cannot sufficiently do all the things that I want to do in life? Paul wants us to realize that life ought to be lived based on the need, not on the desire. And I like the nice things. I mean, I like nice cars. Problem is, I've gotten to the point where I just hate spending $60,000 for a car. I mean, I like it. So I go to the dealership and I test drive and I say, oh, I had my fill today. Thanks. Because my thinking is, what else could I do with that 60? And so what I decide is, you know what? I'm going to use the one I got until the wheels drop off. And the wheels have fallen off several times. But I still have the 60,000. And so what happened is an opportunity came that the Lord wanted me to be involved in, and I had resources to do it. And it didn't disrupt my daily living. You know, sometimes we say, well, I'm going to write a check, and then we got to look in our bank thing and say, oh,